could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm not sure where the...
Here it is.
Back here behind me. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks very much. Next up is roll call.
Quisenberry,
Here.
Nivell,
Here?
Brooks,
Here.
Green,
Here.
Hayden,
Here.
Randazzo,
With notice.
Okay, next up is approval of agenda. I'd like to recommend a change,
Okay.
and that would be that under new business, item C, Village Council Committee assignments, that we maintain what we have now for till the February meeting. And I'm recommending that for the reasons that Tony Randazzo wasn't present tonight, and I'd hate to see him lose out on a spot he wants. And also, we might luckily have another member by then. So we would
Okay.
be assigning 7 people to different committees. So just, I would say, with your approval, look for it in the February meeting. And we just stay put for the next 30 days.
I make a motion to approve the agenda with the change of removing item 11, new business C, Village Council Committees.
Support?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the agenda is now set if nobody else has anything else to alter on this agenda. That does it. On to item 5, approval of council minutes. We did not meet in December, hence there's duplicates of most everything on our agenda tonight. One being in the month of December, the other being probably the month before that. So with that, I guess we'll do them individually if anybody would like to move that.
Make a motion to approve our regular minute meetings of November 27th, 2023. Support?
Okay, move supported. Any discussion on it? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the minutes are accepted.
I'll make a motion to accept the public hearing minutes of November 27th, 2023.
Support.
Moved and supported. Is there any discussion on this? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the number 5 on our agenda has been dealt with, and we can move past it. On to item 6. Once again, it's the same thing where we're seeing duplicates of planning commission meetings, financial report, DDA meetings, 2 of them, 2 invoices from attorney, a finance report for November, a finance report for December, and a revenue and expenditure report for November and December 2023. And once again, these are just acceptance items, but as long as I've called the item up, does anybody have a question about any of those?
I just have a comment, and I can give the one date, I'm going to give it to you, Ryan, for DDA. Just point that out at the top, I circled it. And then also, Director Matt Jenkins got a 5% raise, I see, so
Oh, okay.
very, I think that's great.
I guess that's great as well, and if nobody has further questions, all of the items under the acceptance items issues are accepted. On to number 7, which is approval of disbursements. We paid our bills in December, and we already paid them through January 15th, and they are on separate description pages that indicate what each item was cost and what we paid. So anybody?
Make a motion to approve our disbursements from the period of November 15, 2023 through December 15, 2023 in the amount of $25,937.88.
Support?
Okay, moved and supported. Those in favor of paying the bills, we'll take a roll call on this one.
Brooks,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Hayden,
Yes.
Nivell,
Yes.
Quisenberry.
Yes. Okay, the motion to pay that one passes. The next one up is the January disbursements.
I make a motion to accept the payables ending January 15, 2024 in the amount of $33,087.22.
Support?
All right, any questions about these? looks like a lot of wintertime expenses like road salt and some other repairs that the DPW might have had. Moved and supported. Are there any other questions regarding that? If not, roll call vote again, please.
Green,
Yes.
Hayden,
Yes.
Nivelt,
Yes.
Quisenberry,
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Okay, meeting's clipping right along. Right now is the section for public comments. That's anyone who came to the meeting tonight and would like to address the village council about anything. Now is the time to raise your hand and come on up and tell us what you want.
You can use the microphone at the podium, right over there.
And your name is, of course, I know you, but just making sure everybody does.
Hi, everybody. I am Leanne Claxton. I am a DDA board member, for those of you who don't know me. And I just really quickly wanted to come and tell you guys about a fundraiser that we're having. Make sure that everybody knows it's not on Facebook or on all over social media where I've been throwing it everywhere. That's the one. What's that? What's in the
Back of the
packet?
packet.
Yeah, we all got a
wow.
copy of it.
Well, how about that? Awesome. Thank you.
Wow.
And I just wanted to address you guys, let you know that it's happening. It's a fundraiser for the farmers market. It's going to be a super fun time. We got an awesome band coming. They're a Jimmy Buffett cover band, sort of a summer and winter sort of thing. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them right now.
How big is the heated tent?
Yeah.
20 by 40.
Huh.
It's a big heated tent. There's going to be refreshments in there. JB's Barbecue will have food on hand, and a Nana and Papa's Desserts, I think is the name of the, whoever JB's usually uses for all their like little hand pies and stuff. They're really good. And then we'll have a bartender, and we'll have pop and water and other refreshments, adult refreshments as well, so for purchase. And if you buy a ticket online, you get a free cup, which I didn't bring the cup, but you get a cup and a lei and a
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
free drink, and $1 off when you drink out of the cup. You get $1 off. Actually, if you guys wanted to come, I might even give you a free cup.
I think it's a great idea.
And do we get to select what's in it or no?
Well, the cup is just empty.
The cup's empty. Okay.
And then you get the free drink
We don't-
ticket, and then you go up, and then you
okay.
ask the bartender
So there's
for
a
what
little
to
hitch,
fill
but
it
it-
up. And
but
that's
it's still,
anything
it's
refillable.
still
we'll-
available.
Still a good deal.
Yep, so,
Okay, thanks, Leanne, for coming in, and I heard most of this this morning at the DDA meeting, but I'm glad that everybody here got a chance to hear from you as well.
And I loved your fundraisers that you're doing also with the online.
the extra ones?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, I just think you guys are just really starting to think out of the box and do a lot, and you just seem really busy. So thank you.
It's been pretty busy, and we've got some actually really fun, more fundraisers possibly coming up. So keep your ears open for the euchre tournament possibly, and then maybe even like a girls' night out, makeup, psychic type of thing going on. So something like that.
Neat.
So
Thank you.
Okay.
thank you.
When are we gonna do a guys' night out?
Yeah. They have that.
To be followed by a guys' night out, right? You know, yeah. Okay,
Makeup,
thanks, Leanne.
pictures.
Is there anybody else here that would like to speak to the Village Council of Ortonville? And are no one indicating an interest in that? That means we can move past this. We're going to go to items on trustees. I guess I can start on this side and start with Kay.
I really don't have a lot to report. The only thing I'd like to mention, though, is that during the blizzard that we've had, the DPW, as always, is out there working their butts off, doing a great job, keeping our sidewalks and streets clean.
Yeah. Am I next?
Yes,
You
are.
follow, yes. Go right ahead. Sorry. Better than hopping around, I'm just going to go.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with what Kay says. I live right downtown, and they wake me up in the morning. I can hear them going, oh, man, they're out there already. Those guys are amazing. So, yeah, and I have nothing to report from my committee.
Okay, Melanie.
I have a couple things. It's just not committee, right? Because this is our only time.
No, you get, I mean,
Because it's not on there again.
Floor's yours. Yeah.
Yeah, this is-
what's that on there?
So speak again. So you,
Oh,
is it
you can,
everything?
You could
Okay.
speak now and anytime you want.
No. Yeah, we don't want that for me. All right, DPW, yeah, every time I came down and they worked 7 days and, yeah, from 7 to 7 with, some hiccups with equipment and just kudos. Maybe I would love to do something for them. I'm not sure what, but I've been thinking of some ideas, but I think we should show that we appreciate them. Just a couple of things, wayfinding we'll talk about when we get to Ryan's report. I want to just remind us some of the things that I would love to see accomplished. We need that intergovernmental agreement with the township, with the pickleball and also with the concession stand, which is another thing that we really need to complete this year, the concession, wayfinding, intergovernmental, and also ZBA. I don't know, did we want to stay how we are, or do we need to talk about that in the future? Did we want to change that? I don't know if that was something that we wanted to discuss in the future.
Well, we certainly will in the future, but I would like to get some more information from Ryan on that topic.
Yeah.
But
Yep. And then as far as planning, we're doing the zoning ordinances. We're getting pretty darn close. And the other topic will be review of approval process. I believe I can speak about it. Then we had some concerns
yep, you'll
that came up.
definitely be called on that one because you're on the planning commission, so we would definitely want to hear what happened at the last meeting other than what's in the minutes.
Right.
And is that good?
That's
No?
it, yep,
Okay.
thank you.
Larry?
Yeah, I want to echo the same sentiments about the DPW crew. They always do a really good job after any of the snowstorms. The luminaries were very nice. I wish I could have been there to help, as I have in past years, but at least it was better weather than it was last time I helped, so.
Oh, yeah.
But it looked really good. It did seem there was not as many, because some of the side streets that we used to do didn't have them on there, and I kind of missed that, but it was really nice. I went out to light and found somebody had already come by and lit them all for us in front of my house. So thank you all to all the volunteers who did that. It was really nice this year. And that's it for me. I don't have any updates for IT committee or streets committee. Still trying to work with Ryan on when it would make sense to get together on those topics, because there's not a lot to discuss, but I think we got enough that we could probably have a meeting real soon here.
Okay, thanks very much.
Larry, we had child labor on those luminaries over there. Little K-line was there putting candles in bags. for us.
Well,
Pretty
hey.
good at it. He took a really good nap after.
There's no age restrictions for helping out the village, on the high end or the low end. Okay, that takes care of items from trustees. Luckily, under unfinished business, it seems we have none. We must be doing
Take
something
care of
right.
business.
Yeah, we're not kicking cans down the road, or at least very much. On to new business, though, where there is some items to take care of. Item A is the Village Council Rules and Procedures. It's kind of been in place now for a few years. At the beginning of my term last year, I had thoughts of making changes and alterations, and that just didn't seem to get any traction. And we approved the set from the previous year for this year, and I'd like to recommend that we do the same thing for this year. So nothing's changed.
There's a
There's some
there's
things.
a couple little
Yeah,
things that
there's-
In there?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
we've already voted on them then, haven't we?
No, we're supposed to vote on this every November 20th. I'm sorry.
Right, we didn't,
We're
but
close.
the
Well,
previous
technically,
years,
it's
we didn't do it till
after
April.
A newly seated
Or
council,
later,
So every
yeah.
2 years,
Yeah.
technically.
Well, I just was gonna,
Yeah.
I like it because it's been brought to everybody's attention that, it's I thought of it as an annual thing that we would do, just like the committees. So, and if there were changes to be made,
And that's, so how do you want to go about with we need to delete a section on the Brandon Fire Department?
well, here's what we're gonna do. We are going to adjourn this item to the February meeting along with the committees, because if there's any changes in there, I wanna know them before I vote on them.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
I didn't know we made any.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just noticed a few things that were different that were in here. that
Between
we-
last year and this year?
Just what we're not, things that.
We're not
That we're
doing.
not doing that actually are
Right.
in here. And they're just
Well, there's
minor.
probably many things
Well,
that we're not
No, there
doing.
really
Well,
weren't that
most we
many.
are.
There were just
Most
a
we are.
couple.
Okay, that's
And I
good.
thought, we may as well tweak this to say what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Well, then I would just like to know what they were that changed between last year and
Okay.
this year. And we can do this next month because we're going to be doing committees again. And all it's going to be is just a.
So let's make this official. I make a motion to postpone new business item, well, I guess this would become C since we do, or new business item A,
A.
Village Council Rules of Procedure, to the February meeting, regular council meeting. And do we want to have suggestions for updates go to you, Ken, or Ryan?
No, to Ryan, and that means when we get our next packet,
Changes will
next
be in there.
February, maybe we can just go through and highlight the items that are changes, and then we'll know them specifically.
Okay, so I need support for my motion then.
Yes. Well,
Support?
good. Moved and supported. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Okay, those opposed? There are no opposition to that, so item A and as well as item C will be dealt with in February. That does mean that next month we will have some unfinished business, so we can at least fill up category number 10 with a couple of these items. Never my first priority, but sometimes you just have to do that. On to the appointment of Village Council pro tempore. That is, this year was served by Melanie Nivelt. It's my recommendation that the council just keep things as they are, and along with that comes whatever stability we may think we have, but it's consistent for my 2-year term, and I'd recommend that we make it official tonight.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the appointment of Melanie Nivelt as President Pro Tempore.
Congratulations. Support? Okay, those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Well, you get 10 more months.
Thank you.
Item D.
Thank you for asking.
Parks and Recreation Master Plan 2024. This is just more of a housekeeping item. Apparently, this is one of those things that you get from, that you just have to do on a periodic basis. At least that's kind of what is explained to me. Every what? How
every
many?
5.
Every 5 years. Okay. So some of you may have, who have been here 5 years might remember seeing this come up on an agenda before, but it's just a customary formality, and it was put in our packet, so.
So is the idea to have the Parks and Rec representative be part of this? Or is that what we're
Ideally,
supposed to?
That's how it was done previously. It was
Right.
the manager and Parks and Rec person at that time. So
Did that work out good?
that makes sense. In talking with the township about it, it'd be the Parks and Rec director and most likely the township supervisor as there too. And
You don't want too many because it's hard to get everybody together.
Yep, a meeting won't happen, will it?
Yeah, it's tough.
Okay, but because it's one of those formalities, it requires a vote by this council, and then that will put it in our official minutes that we approve next month.
I make a motion to accept the Parks and Rec Master Plan 2024.
To begin work on it?
Begin work on it.
And
With
we-
the village council member and village manager?
Well, it's in here. I mean, that part's in there.
You wanted to know.
I recommend the
It's at
village
the very
council, all right,
bottom.
we make a motion, I'm making a motion that we begin to work on Parks and Rec Master Plan for 2024, led by a village council person yet to be determined, and the village manager.
Support.
Okay, is there any discussion on this? Go ahead, Larry.
Yes, I would suggest, instead of just saying a village council member to be determined, why not designate the
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec Committee person? We don't know who that is yet, but by giving the title rather than the person, it could be whoever has that position at that time.
Well, I guess that was the assumption I was making here.
Well,
However
there's,
you want
the
me to
only
word it.
problem with that is, just hypothetically, if that were somebody's position that they were appointed at, and then they leave for whatever reason, just like we've had a couple openings that occur, and then that would be, then we'd have to, that wouldn't be, that position would then be vacant until we pick somebody
Well,
else.
we could always temporarily assign somebody to that
We
position
always could.
until we have a
It
council
matters
member,
not.
too.
She made the motion, and then,
It's just having the title means that it's not to a specific person, 'cause same thing could happen with a specific person if the committee, and we don't have the committee
assignments
set
yet, no.
so-
Right, that's why I said to be determined. But however you want me to say it.
I was, just a suggestion. If you want to stay with the motion the way it is, that's fine too.
I think it's fine. We always have the discretion to override our previous decisions, and we can and maybe sometimes should. And this motion works for me.
Was it supported?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Okay, moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? No. That moves us past the Parks and Rec Master Plan. Next is the review of the approval process. I think this has something to do with what Melanie made mention of, and it's in our notes from the manager and also in the minutes from the Planning Commission on their last meeting. And it has to do with, the Planning Commission is asking us to decide on a procedure for review of approval process in our Planning Commission, in our ordinances. I read your three suggestions as to what we can do. One of them was to do nothing. One of them was to delegate this back to the Planning Commission. And the third one was anything else we might choose to think of. So we have those options available to us.
Do you have comment, Melanie, since you were part of
Well,
You were there.
well, no, I will be honest with you. What we are confused as a planning commission of how this went down, honestly, because none of us knew about
What do you
this
mean, how what went
auxiliary
down?
building and the
Okay.
process. Who approved it, who said it could stay, did the people come to the office, didn't they? Did they go to Oakland County, didn't they? And when we asked, we got a different story from a couple different people, and I was hoping to have the building inspector here this evening. I had sent an email and asked if we could have him come.
He's at training.
Yeah, so, but I guess he is the one that, initially gave the approval, and I thought he could better explain why that is, because it is not in agreement with our ordinances. And right now, we're spending a lot of money and a lot of time on these ordinances, and I guess we all felt at the last planning commission meeting is, why are we doing this if these ordinances are not being followed? And also, it can put us in jeopardy and some other things that we have said no to. So it's very important to all of us that we have a correct process and that it's followed.
So what is the planning commission recommending? Do they have a recommendation on how they'd like to see this?
Well, we thought that there was kind of a, when you go into the office, then you get your paperwork, and at that point, you are told what to do. I need this plan, I need the plans, and I need this, and there's a
Right.
checklist.
Right.
If that doesn't happen, then it kind of worked around it. That's why I would have liked to have heard from our building inspector, because that did not
Well,
happen.
why don't we hear from our village
Well,
manager?
that's true, but I understand there was some conflict between our rules and the county's health
And see,
department rules.
and that's what we don't know, because we
Yeah.
were never
Right.
part of it.
And I just
Yeah.
learned that a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So that's not like I had pre-knowledge of that.
So maybe you can fill us in better then.
But the only thing I can tell you is that they slid past this ordinance that you made mention of on the fact that it's a temporary vehicle or a temporary building that can be moved and it's portable. And therefore, that's the reason why I'm not speaking for the building inspector, but I understand that that's the reason why he couldn't say no to it, because it didn't violate our ordinances. We just didn't have one.
But it
And-
was never on wheels. It's not on wheels.
Oh, I'm not saying
Yeah.
how this is going to end, how the story's going to end. I'm just going to
But-
go by
but
how we got here.
If he
And
would've, if someone would've looked at it,
well, the only thing I can tell you about personal experience is, as a court officer, I get orders from all kinds of courts to go out and seize those and take them, just like repoing a car, because they're deemed to be temporary. And if you don't pay for your shed that you get in your backyard, you'll see me there, and I call this company that comes on a truck and forklifts, lifts it up, puts two wheels on the back, goes around to the front, lifts it up, puts it on a truck, and away they go. So in my definition, it's a temporary building. Now, if we want to have an ordinance that kind of somehow prohibits or restricts it, we can go in that direction. I would like to hear from each one of you, though, too, but I would like to hear from Larry first.
Okay. Yeah, I actually was talking to Ryan earlier today on another matter, and also asked him about this because my question was, I know we have an administrative review process, so I was asking if this had been handled somehow under the administrative review, and he explained to me that because it was temporary, it did not get any
Scrutiny.
official review or scrutiny.
Right.
Like a more permanent request normally would get. And it was because of the temporary. He also clarified to me that part of the problem is that we don't have a definition of how temporary is temporary. And so temporary, does that mean 30 days, 60 days, 120 days, or what? And so because we don't have something defined in our approval process, that's where we get into the gray area here in trying to deal with the situation.
I
So
believe we do have something in there about temporary as far as time.
for some things, I know we do.
Yeah.
Like we do, for example, signs. We have a limit on how long temporary
I'm
signs
talking
can be in place.
a temporary
For-
building. I'm not
For
going
like
into
campers
that.
in front of the house, you have a limit on how long they can temporarily be placed. I don't know if anything's defined for that.
Well,
And
Ryan can tell us.
Well, let's first go, I want to catch these guys, because that way Ryan can answer everybody's question all with one response.
Okay.
Instead of a ping pong game. Does anybody have anything else they want to ask Ryan about this ordinance or lack thereof? And if not, I'm
Well,
going
just where we're at, in the
then
process, that's.
take it over, Ryan, and just tell us what you know, and we'll do what we need to do.
Sure, the tenants there at 465 South Street were notified that the village process is what it is, and the health department has a different set of standards, and that they were likely to run afoul of one or the other, and that is the case.
Okay. And so they ran afoul of both, or just ours? or-
No, the health department standards for food service.
Okay.
Nothing to do with a temporary vehicle or temporary
Right.
shed or building or whatever, outbuilding.
Part of it,
So,
as I
Yeah.
understand it, that's not, I didn't write the letter. For a temporary building, so our definition says it can be moved, right? So like President Quisenberry said, it can be moved in a reasonable amount of time with a flatbed truck and things like that. Health Department definition of temporary would be like a food truck that you can rotate right now. You can pick it up and move it.
On wheels.
It's a different definition, it's different uses. To be used for food service and be a temporary outbuilding or accessory building that you can use for that has to meet their standards. It was being used before the health department had approved it. So that's where things stand right now.
Well, it
But
sounds like-
we gave them the go-ahead, the building inspector told them that, yes, or called our office and said, yes, it's approved. Is that correct so far? That he called our office and said it's approved?
We had several conversations about temporary versus permanent buildings.
Okay,
And
and-
agreed that
but-
it is temporary.
And he said it was on wheels, or
it can be moved.
but this is all I heard was that it was on wheels, and the health department said yes, and we said yes, but it was never on wheels, so I don't
Wheels
understand.
are not a factor, movable,
Okay.
temporary.
Okay,
Is it
well, I
on a
was
foundation?
Well,
told,
then they
actually,
didn't
wheels.
abide by our rules, sounds like, and the health department's. Am I correct, or am I?
Our rules were followed as a temporary
Okay,
structure.
Okay, so it was just the health department.
And they've been there for almost 2 years with a tent. I mean,
I know.
how permanent is that? And do they need approval for it? You know, I mean, there's unanswered questions, and maybe they slipped one by us at the moment, but if we want to, planning commission wants to have an ordinance and debate all these items that
We
people
do.
have brought, well, then pass an ordinance.
Is there any
We
formal
do. We have
documentation
it.
on this
Okay,
approval?
well, then why don't we approve it?
Or was it
It
just
didn't go
verbal?
through the right process
Okay.
Our
It never
conversations
came
were
to
verbal.
our
I didn't
office.
document it.
to go
This
through the
request didn't,
process.
but is there, the ordinance that you're speaking of, is that something that, is this a new ordinance you're talking about that we need to, the planning commission needs to pass an ordinance?
Well, we're updating them, but we had a previous one already
Okay.
as well, but we're also
That sounds like,
updating them.
sounds like there's a conflict then, because
And right, and
They
that, so
can't
my
both be right.
question.
They can't both be correct.
Yeah, and so my question was, how did this go down? I just, there were several stories, so,
yeah,
I just don't want any any residents to think we're trying to stonewall businesses in our community. That's not at all, you know, we do have some, you know, we have our rules and policies in place, hopefully to take care of any issues and help the people move along in the process, you know, as long as they're willing to do that.
Oh, yeah, I agree absolutely. The whole point is that we need a certain amount of formality to make sure that we are being fair to all businesses and make sure that we are handling things in a open manner and a well-documented manner, so there's no questions like this that come up in these situations. And I think
Oh, there'll
that's
be
part of
questions that
it.
come up.
Yeah,
There
there
just
are
always
gonna
will
be
be.
questions that
That's
come up.
part of it, is because there was no formal documentation created. It was pretty much, sounds like verbal. We need to have a little more formality, then we would have something to look back at and see what happened when. And
Well, somebody wants to write that up and put it in the rules. We'll debate it then.
We
But
have
don't-
a process, and they are supposed to come in, and there is paperwork to be filled out.
And what does that paperwork look like, Ryan? Do we,
It doesn't speak to temporary uses.
okay.
Yeah.
So then maybe that had to be changed, or could be, or should
Could
be.
be.
That needs
So
to be
they
tweaked a little
didn't
more.
violate it if it didn't include, if it didn't address temporary.
Right.
My thought here is, it seems like we should probably review what we currently have for a process, the zoning ordinance currently states in terms of temporary duration, definitions, things, and that should be reviewed and maybe updated to help make sure it's clear.
Well,
in our-
That's
what
always
we're
fine with
working
me.
on.
That's fine with,
And
with all of us.
my thought would be the best body to do that might be the planning commission.
That's what we've been working on. That's, yeah.
well, then we'll just
We're
we'll
doing
just
that.
let it remain at the planning commission. Once they put something together, it will come to us for approval, and that's the right way to do it. And in the meantime, they aren't in violation, in my opinion, of anything. We
The
sure can't go
village.
out and give them a ticket,
No.
I don't think.
I'm
Or
not sure
we
what
would have a
Oakland
tough
County
time
could do,
defending
though.
a ticket if we ever tried to charge somebody with violating one of our ordinances. The enforcement arm would have a difficult uphill sledding that they'd be looking at.
Well, what is Oakland County saying? I will ask that, because I know they're still in operation, so they must be
No,
allowed.
they're not.
Oh, they're not now? Okay, well, they were.
Yeah.
Okay.
According to what I read in our packet, they received a cease and desist order from the county,
Okay.
Which is a shame.
correct?
Related to the shed, yes.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Jay will use it to store returnable bottles or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it still remained, the building is still there.
Yes,
So
it is.
their cease and desist had nothing to do with the building or the removal of it. It had to do with them operating a food. So those issues are completely separate. The issue of the building is still up in the air. We haven't even
Right.
got any definite answers on that. It sounds like, based on what I just heard Larry say, Ryan suggested 2 alternatives for us, actually 3, but the 2 were kick it to the planning commission and let them do whatever it is they do. And the second is just to forget about it for now.
Okay, I'll make a motion to kind of formalize this, and hopefully I get it in a good way. I'll make a motion to allow the planning commission to continue review the approval process, and specifically regarding temporary uses and definitions, to ensure that that section of the ordinances is clarified. And regarding the specific situation with this specific approval, I suggest that we just leave that to the discretion of the village manager to follow up as he deems necessary.
Hey, Jenna,
I know, that was a
kind of
long one.
lengthy there, eh?
That was
Welcome
a
back.
long one.
I might have missed the end.
Well, I missed kind of the middle.
I'm surprised you got it all the way to the end?
So far, I have allow the planning commission to continue to review the approval process specifically regarding temporary uses. Is that correct?
Yep.
Oh,
Sounds like,
Sure that section of the ordinance is clarified.
Yeah.
And then there was something after that.
And regarding the specific approval of the JB barbecue temporary use, to leave that at the discretion of the village manager to follow up as necessary.
lengthy, but I think we all understand what the motion means.
It's kind of a little of both.
it-
Partly
it's
send back
half
to
and
planning
half, but
commission and partly
we can
do
combine
nothing
some
unless
things.
it's needed and empower Ryan to take care of it.
I wouldn't imagine those need separate motions, so we'll just consider it all as one matter, and there has been a motion.
I'll support.
Okay, this is a touchy subject. I'm going to ask for a roll call vote.
Nigel?
You would come to me
See,
first,
you
right?
start right up with you. Don't worry.
You boy, Jenna,
This
and I
is-
was happy to see you. Yes.
Quisenberry?
No.
Brooks?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
Hayden?
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes, four of the motion and one against it. And just briefly, it's because I don't see that solving anything either, so I'd just leave it all alone. So that's hence the reason for my no vote.
I wondered.
That takes care of the review of the approval process, and that leaves us to item 12. Hey, how'd we miss a 13?
Village manager report? Oh,
Yeah.
we did,
Go
didn't
from
we?
12 to 14.
Okay, maybe
We don't like that
13 is
number, so,
unlucky,
yeah,
and we're
we're
not
just
gonna,
Yeah.
we're gonna, here on out, eliminate item 13 from our agendas.
That's it.
Or not, but anyways, onto the
That bad
village.
number.
Onto the village manager report, and he's got kind of a few things he's going to go over with us, and once he's completed, we can ask him as many questions as you guys want to ask.
All right, so your packet has the opportunity report from the Municipal League Foundation after their November visit. Got some good takeaways for us for the DDA, things to consider. We'll make it available.
And that's this.
That was very
okay.
interesting.
All right, that was interesting.
Good perspective for us. Wayfinding, it is still ongoing. We've been in the approval process with both the Road Commission for Oakland County as well as the Michigan Department of Transportation, because the two signs that are our highest priority, one is in each of their right-of-ways. So going through both processes simultaneously has been about as much fun as driving on icy roads.
My son really likes that.
Yeah, trade them. But it continues, it's ongoing. We are still tracking to have something for spring. We know it's a priority, but it's still underway. The Park and Friends of Ortonville Trails update. There was a work day in November. We were able to clear the existing trails and get pretty well started on the trails that are down by Candace Court. The old railroad bed is a pretty obvious walking path, so that'll continue to be developed. If you're interested in more things with trails, feel free to let me know or send people my way. I'll be meeting with the Brandon School Superintendent next week to talk more about, there's some funny parcel boundaries and existing conditions in there that we want to make sure we're on the same page as we proceed with trails. We want to make sure we're working together on those things. Other updates, and I'll add a couple. I'll be attending the MME Winter Conference in Lansing. It's a very good conference for municipal executives. There's a couple grants that I'm tracking, we're working towards. Some are coming up faster than others. Stay tuned, we'll have things we'll need from council for that. The Oakland Saves grant program, it's a first-come, first-serve reimbursement program for homeowners for energy efficiency on their home projects. You can find more, it's on our website and it's on the county website as well. But first come, first serve is, it's open to anybody who's an Oakland County resident, so. And then we've got the Flip Flop Festival coming up on the 10th. I've been working on the Oakwood Sidewalk project quite diligently lately. A couple of our pals are here with us. It is a difficult project, to put it mildly. We decided last winter to work on the sidewalk from Cedar Street going west to Narren Park. It crosses 8 private parcels. The right-of-way is too small to put it in the right-of-way, so it has to go on their property. Easement acquisition is a thorny subject, believe it or not. These guys can attest to it. But working on it, we're trying to figure a path forward. We have a couple issues that persist. We're getting close on some timelines with MDOT, so I'll keep you posted on that. I'm meeting with our engineer and our attorney later this week to talk about next steps and other things and processes. And it was smooth sailing till it wasn't. It's been a tough project since 2017 when we first started talking about sidewalk on Oakwood, when we thought $250,000 we're going to do sidewalk from M15 to Brandon Hills Road. So more to come on that one. And then some other DPW news. You may have seen it posted on our website. It'll be in the Citizen as well. We're looking for a DPW laborer. And the equipment hunt continues. As I mentioned earlier, our case that we know is on life support is the only piece of equipment that has not broken down in the last 2 weeks. The cold weather and old equipment are a very dangerous combination. Our DPW is doing a fantastic job of keeping everybody safe. And my last item is Amber is out this week, as you may have noticed. So I just want to say thank you very much to Jenna Palmer for being our fill-in recording
Absolutely.
secretary. We appreciate it. That's all for me.
Okay, I'm gonna just maybe move around if you have a question on anything Ryan
Well, I
mentioned.
did, but I've forgotten what it is now.
You what?
I did, but I've forgotten what it was
Okay,
now.
but you
Yeah,
can,
I'll check
you
with
can call him
later.
anytime you
Yeah.
want and get your questions answered. I'm sure he'll gladly talk to you about it. Thanks for the update, Ryan, and Linda,
Nothing?
Melanie?
Go to Mary first, because I do.
Okay, well, I do too, so.
Well, you guys battle it out.
But I'll
Go back and forth.
start. I think this is relatively short. This is going back to the opportunity report. I did like in the recommendations, I just want to bring this point up here because I think that's something that is a really good recommendation. And it's about updating and improving the DDA website. I know the DDA does a really good job of pushing out information on events and things like that out on the Facebook page, but I have noticed that the DDA official website is a little bit scarce and often does not have the latest information on activities and things. For example, the Flip Flop Fest, it's not listed on the DDA website calendar of events, but I did find it on Pure Michigan, so I'm glad that, it's getting out there in other channels too. But I think that this would be part of the RRC process with the public engagement plan for our community, and we should maybe take a look at that and try to define and work on how can we improve utilization of the DDA website as well as the Facebook page, and maybe help to work to define what content is best suited for one or the other, or maybe should be on both and stuff like that. Because I think if we better utilize the DDA website as well, I agree with the recommendations here, it would benefit the businesses and, even other people in the community if we had better information and a better website for the DDA.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, but it's, we can make a mention of that to the right people and make sure that, we met this morning, so I missed that opportunity, but I see Matt at least once a week anyway, so.
Yep.
he-
No, but
he'd be-
they do a fantastic job. I just think that would be something that they could supplement, augment the way of getting.
It sounds like it makes sense to me. Thanks. Melanie?
All right, well, since you started with the opportunity report, within that opportunity report, wayfinding was mentioned at least 5-6 times as being something very important for us to do in near and long-term plans. And the wayfinding, as all of you know, I'm frustrated with the lack of progress since we have gotten that approved. And in 2022, I put forth a motion that this council approved, and that was for $22,000 to start with our signage. And here we are in '24, and I know we approved $30,000 for this past budget. But if we're having so many issues, and this is 2 years of issues with the MDOT and, what else? MDOT.
Road Commission
And Road
yeah.
Commission. So I don't know how other places get it done, but I think we need to talk to some different people through those two organizations. Or if it's an impossible thing, whatever we're trying to do, then we need to focus on other signs and get things done that we can get done. because we're just not going anywhere. We're stuck in this circle, and it's just spinning, and it's not right.
It's that hamster cage, right?
Yeah.
Where he
Oh,
just
yeah.
keeps running, doesn't
Pretty
get
much.
anywhere?
Yeah. MDOT, Road Commission, MDOT, Road. But we need to find a different way. This way isn't working. And I am more than willing to help with that if we want to call other people. I mean, heck, we have contacts through Oakland County. I mean, we can even call our commissioner. There's people we can call to see what the problem is. As far as the DPW equipment, I know we approved money for equipment, and so nothing's out there? Is that just,
There's stuff out there.
is it
We just
way
haven't.
more than,
It's either way more, or it's not right, or it's used and it's a good price, but we're not sure about the condition, or, both Bob and I have been hunting in several different channels through auctions and a couple different dealerships we know and things like that, statewide at this point.
Okay.
While I'm in Lansing, I'll swing by another AIS yard as well. But we haven't landed on the one. We know our current equipment we've had for over 20 years, so we're hoping to find one that is going to last that long, that we
Right.
can maintain that long. We've been a little trigger shy on it. We're looking for the right one.
okay, yeah, and I know I gave you the couple, and then I don't even know what a repo cast, did you even?
I've looked. I
Okay,
subscribe sometimes.
Okay,
usually
but I
not.
know Oakland County, and then those two other, municipal, and then you have some more too. What grants, because I had a couple grants, I was gonna come see, what grants are you currently going for?
The DDA is applying for a few, like
But-
the T-Mobile one I know, and there's
Okay.
another was on their agenda this morning. But I've looked at the AARP Communities
Okay.
Challenge is one that seemed like it might be a fit.
Good.
There's a webinar about DNR rec grants coming up because you'll love this, Jenna. Our plans for the concession stand have been submitted. They've been sealed and submitted. I'm hoping to tell you at our next meeting that we've already put it out to bid, because as soon as we're allowed to, we will. But it's been a fun one for that grant in every single way. But once we're off that naughty list, there's an April application for rec grants, and there's a few opportunities like Crossman Park that might be very ripe for us to apply for some DNR funding for those projects.
Okay, and the T-Mobile and the AARP are the ones that, and both of those, we meet the criteria. So, and actually, the T-Mobile, I submitted that personally last year, because you can be like a council member to do it. So if you need help with those, but I would highly suggest that our council goes after both of those. And then as far as I didn't know about the acquisition issues. How many how many homes are we looking at that, is it 8 that we have issues with?
No, there's 8 total between Cedar and Narren Park.
Okay. And is it 2 or 3 or
A handful.
okay,
Yeah, I'll give you more details at another time.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And as I get more information with our engineer, Paul O'Meara from Rowe, we'll talk about where we go from here. So
Yeah.
I'll get you an update in the next week or so. I'll see him later this week.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we're not up to speed for whoever is here. I don't know, sorry, I don't know, but we're not up to speed with what's going on with that right currently, but that would be great. Thank you, Ryan.
Okay, that takes care of the questions. That takes care of the manager's report. I just have a couple of quick announcements, or maybe just one. I too want to thank Jenna. I think we all do. I also want to remind everybody that it was really nice to hold a meeting in a room that was made for a meeting. However, it's very short-lived because February, we cannot meet here. So we are meeting.
We'll be in here.
It's
Oh, that's right.
yeah,
That's right.
there's one and possibly two, maybe in November, that we can't use this for, and it has to do with election laws and violation and things like that. So there'll be people in here working on elections, and we're not supposed to, I guess, commingle with them or something. But
Right.
for any reason, it's off limits to us in February.
We'll note it on your agenda
Yeah,
where the
so
next meeting
I
is.
just wanted to
Yeah, of
mention
course.
to everybody that next month, we won't be here again until March.
Right. And there's this thing called Check My Vote. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but you should all log into it. It's just checkmyvote.com. or, I'm sorry, .org. And you can check to make sure that your voting information is accurate and correct. And I would urge everybody to do that.
Okay, takes us to, we'll skip item 13, it's not really important, and move on to item 14.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Oh, wow. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, those opposed? Nobody opposes it. Wow.
Not one.
told Jen to expect.